The Catalyst. The Meridian Council chamber fell silent as Dr. Sarah Chen's hologram flickered before the assembled alien representatives. Her voice trembled not with fear, but with barely contained fury as she addressed the towering figures. "You murdered my daughter," she said, each word precise and cutting. "She was conducting authorized research on your orbital station. She followed every protocol. And your security forces shot her because they claimed humans couldn't be trusted with advanced gravitational technology." High Counselor Vexthor's crystalline form pulsed with dismissive colors. The human child exceeded her authorized access levels. The response was regrettable, but within standard security protocols. Sarah's hologram clenched its fists. She was 16, a prodigy working to help both our species. And you killed her because you fear what humanity might become. "Your species is young, dangerous," rumbled Counselor Zakath, his insectoid mandibles clicking. "You advance too quickly, push too far. The death of one human is preferable to the chaos your kind could unleash if left unchecked." In her office at the Lunar Research Institute, Sarah terminated the transmission. She stared at the blank screen, tears streaming down her face. Her daughter Emily's smile flashed in her mind, brilliant, curious, filled with wonder at the universe's mysteries, now extinguished forever by alien fear and prejudice. Sarah's hand shook as she entered an encrypted command into her terminal. A message that would change the galaxy forever. Guardian Protocol activated. Authorization, Chen Alpha 709. 12 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, ancient machinery hummed to life. Similar activations rippled across Earth, deep in the Mariana Trench, buried under the Antarctic ice, hidden in mountain ranges. Humanity's insurance policy was awakening. Commander Elena Santos stood on the bridge of the EDS Hyperion, largest of the Guardian vessels, as emergency lights bathed the command center in crimson. Around her, crew members emerged from cryostasis, taking their stations with practiced precision, despite decades of suspended animation. "Status report," she ordered, her voice clear and strong despite the lingering effects of long-term stasis. "All systems nominal," Commander reported her XO, Marcus Chen, Sarah's brother. "The Guardian fleet is reporting ready across all bases. 57 vessels, fully armed and equipped with Generation Zero tech." Elena nodded grimly. When humanity first encountered the Meridian Council 30 years ago, Earth's leaders had seen the writing on the wall. The aliens' patronizing attitude, their restrictions on human development, their barely concealed fear of humanity's potential. It all pointed toward eventual conflict. So Earth had prepared. While officially complying with Meridian limitations, the world's nations had secretly pooled their resources and brightest minds to create the Guardian fleet. Ships built with technology that even the Meridians couldn't match, crewed by volunteers willing to sleep for decades until they were needed. "The Meridians killed my niece," Marcus said quietly. "Emily was the best of us. Brilliant, compassionate, wanting only to build bridges between species. And they murdered her for it." Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. "Her death won't be in vain. The Meridians thought they could keep humanity confined, controlled. They're about to learn how wrong they were." The Hyperion's engines thrummed to life, their revolutionary quantum drive creating barely a ripple in normal space. Similar energy signatures appeared across Earth as the rest of the Guardian fleet emerged from hiding. "All vessels reporting ready, Commander," announced Lieutenant Park from Tactical. "Awaiting your orders." Elena straightened her uniform and faced her crew. "For 30 years, we've watched the Meridians suppress human advancement, treat us like children who can't be trusted with the universe's secrets. They've finally shown their true colors, willing to murder an innocent girl for daring to learn too much." She paused, meeting each crew member's eyes. "We are humanity's guardians, our species' insurance against extinction or subjugation. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity will not be chained. Plot a course for the Meridian Council's orbital station. Let's give them a proper introduction to what humanity can really do." The Guardian fleet rose from Earth's oceans, ice sheets, and mountains, sleek vessels of midnight black, their hulls incorporating technology that even the Meridians had never mastered. They formed up around the Hyperion, a sight that would have struck terror into the hearts of Earth's enemies, had any survived seeing the fleet in action during its testing phase. As they accelerated toward their first target, Alina thought of Emily Chen and all the other humans who had suffered under Meridian restrictions. The aliens thought they were containing a dangerous species. Instead, they had created exactly what they feared most, a humanity united against them, armed with superior technology, and now with nothing left to lose. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. Breaking chains. The Meridian orbital station erupted into chaos as the Guardian fleet dropped out of quantum space. Alarms screamed across every deck as the station's sensors registered the impossible. Human vessels larger and more advanced than anything Earth should possess, materializing barely 1,000 kilometers from their perimeter. Meridian Station. This is Commander Elena Santos of the Earth Defense Ship Hyperion. Elena's voice cut through the panicked chatter on all frequencies. Your forces have murdered an innocent human researcher. We are here to demonstrate the consequences of that action. The station's defensive grid activated, energy weapons charging and missile batteries emerging from armored panels. A harsh voice responded, "Unidentified human vessels, power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning." Elena smiled coldly. "Lieutenant Park, show them why that was a mistake." The Hyperion's quantum shields shimmered into visibility as the station opened fire. Meridian energy beams splashed harmlessly against the barrier, their most powerful weapons unable to penetrate humanity's most basic defenses. "Target their weapon emplacements," Elena ordered. "Minimal collateral damage. We're here to make a point, not start a massacre." The Guardian fleet moved with perfect coordination, their targeting systems linked through quantum networks the Meridians couldn't detect or disrupt. Precise beams of concentrated energy lanced out, surgically removing the station's offensive capabilities without breaching its hull. In the midst of the operation, Marcus Chen called out from his station, "Commander, we're picking up unusual readings from the station's lower decks. Multiple non-Meridian life signs. They appear to be prisoners." Elena frowned. "Can you get a more detailed scan?" "Yes. At least 3 different species. They're being held in shielded containment cells. Based on these readings, some have been there for years." The revelation sparked murmurs of anger across the bridge. The Meridians weren't just suppressing humanity. They were imprisoning other species who dared to challenge their authority. "Open a channel to the station," Elena commanded. Her voice hardened as she addressed the Meridian leadership. "We've detected your prisoners. Release them immediately, or we'll do it for you." The response came from a new voice, smooth, cultured, and dripping with contempt. High Counselor Vexthor himself had taken control of communications. "You primitives understand nothing. Those beings are detained for the greater stability of the galaxy. Their species, like yours, needed to be contained before they could spread chaos across civilized space." Elena's reply was to order a precision strike that carved open the prison level's outer doors. The Guardian fleet's shuttles moved in, their advanced systems easily overwhelming the internal security measures. What they found exceeded their worst expectations. Brilliant scientists, political leaders, and innovators from multiple species, all imprisoned for the crime of advancing too quickly for Meridian comfort. Among them was a race of silicon-based crystalline beings whose natural quantum computing abilities had frightened the Meridians, and a species of energy manipulators whose understanding of faster-than-light travel had surpassed the Council's. As the rescued prisoners were brought aboard the Guardian vessels, their stories painted a damning picture. The Meridian Council's true purpose wasn't to guide younger species, but to suppress any civilization that might one day challenge their dominance. "Commander," one of the freed scientists, a crystalline being named Ixel, addressed Elena. "My people have hidden settlements beyond Meridian space. They would stand with humanity against our common oppressor." Similar offers came from other rescued species. The Meridians had created their own worst nightmare, an alliance of the very peoples they had tried to suppress, now armed with humanity's advanced technology. Elena gathered her officers and representatives from each rescued species in the Hyperion's conference room. "The Meridians thought they could keep us divided and weak," she said, looking around the table at beings of various forms and compositions. "Instead, they've given us a common cause. Together, we can end their tyranny." The next few hours saw the formation of what would become known as the Liberation Alliance. Each species brought unique knowledge and capabilities to the table. The crystalline beings' quantum computing enhanced the Guardian fleet's already formidable systems. The energy manipulators' understanding of FTL travel allowed for even greater improvements to their quantum drives. As the Alliance forces prepared to depart, Elena received a priority message from Earth. More Guardian facilities were activating, secret installations built in cooperation with other species who had recognized the Meridian threat decades ago. The fleet that had struck the orbital station was just the beginning. The Meridians thought killing one human girl would help them maintain control. Elena addressed her newly expanded crew. "Instead, they've sparked a revolution that will reshape the galaxy. Set course for the Centauri colonies. It's time to show other oppressed worlds that liberation has arrived." The Guardian fleet, now joined by ships of their new allies, vanished into quantum space. Behind them, the Meridian Station's commanders watched in helpless fury as their carefully maintained system of control began to crumble. On Earth, Sarah Chen watched the feeds from the Guardian fleet with bitter satisfaction. Her daughter's death had become the catalyst for change no one had expected. The Meridians had thought they were containing a dangerous species. They were about to learn just how right they were, but not in the way they had imagined. As the fleet jumped to its next target, the message spread across suppressed worlds. Humanity had broken its chains, and they were offering others the chance to do the same. The galaxy was about to change forever. The rising storm. The Centauri colonies blazed with weapons fire as the Liberation Alliance struck its second major blow against Meridian control. 3 Guardian ships led the assault, their advanced shields shrugging off defensive fire while precision strikes disabled the occupation forces' command centers. Behind them, vessels of the crystalline Ixhal and energy-wielding Gerald provided support, their unique capabilities complementing human technology in ways the Meridians had never anticipated. Commander Elena Santos stood on the Hyperion's bridge, watching as another Meridian warship surrendered. "Status report," she called out. "Minimal civilian casualties," Marcus Chen responded. "The Meridian garrison is laying down arms. And Commander, they're celebrating in the streets. The colonists are actually celebrating." Elena allowed herself a small smile. The Centauri colonies had suffered under particularly harsh Meridian restrictions due to their strategic location. Now, as she watched the feeds, she saw humans and alien colonists alike tearing down Meridian banners and embracing their liberators. But the real prize lay in the data cores they recovered from the Meridian administrative complex. Lieutenant Park's voice carried barely contained excitement as she reported her findings. "Commander, we've uncovered something significant. The Meridians weren't just suppressing technological advancement, they were hoarding it. There are references here to something called the Ancient Repository." Elena leaned forward. "Explain." "It appears to be a massive database of advanced technology and scientific knowledge, collected from various species over millennia, including," Park paused, her eyes widening, "including early human civilizations." The revelation sent a shock through the bridge crew. Humanity's ancient past had always been filled with puzzling gaps and inconsistencies. Now they knew why. "They've been manipulating us for thousands of years," Marcus growled. "Not just decades. They'd probably staged their first contact with us, knowing exactly who and what we were." Before Elena could respond, a new signal cut through their communications. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a face that made several crew members gasp. It was High Counselor Vexthor, but not as they had seen him before. Gone was the crystalline being's usual aura of smug superiority. Instead, his form pulsed with colors that the ship's AI translated as anxiety and barely contained rage. "Commander Santos," he said, his voice tight, "perhaps it is time we negotiated." Elena's response was cold. "The time for negotiations was before you murdered an innocent girl. Now we're only interested in truth and justice." "You don't understand the forces you're unleashing," Vexthor insisted. "Humanity was contained for a reason. Your species, your bloodline carries dangers you cannot comprehend." "What we carry," Elena replied, "is the will to be free. Something you fear more than any weapon." She terminated the transmission and turned to her crew. "Get me a secure channel to Dr. Chen on Earth. She needs to hear about this ancient repository." Hours later, Elena sat in her ready room with Sarah Chen's hologram, discussing their discoveries. The scientist's eyes were red from crying, but her voice was steady. "The genetic markers they were monitoring in Emily," Sarah said, "they weren't random. They were looking for something specific, something they'd seen before." "A weapon?" Elena asked. Sarah shook her head. "No. Potential. Pure, unlimited potential. The kind that could evolve beyond their control." Emily's research. She wasn't just studying their technology. She was on the verge of improving it. That's why they killed her. The conversation was interrupted by urgent alerts. Multiple quantum ruptures were detected. The largest Meridian fleet they'd ever encountered was emerging from FTL travel. Elena rushed to the bridge, barking orders. "Battle stations. All ships form up on the Hyperion. Ixhal vessels, prepare quantum interference fields. Jural ships, ready your energy webs." The space around the Centauri colonies erupted into the largest battle the Alliance had yet faced. Meridian ships filled the void, their weapons blazing. But this time, something was different. Their technology seemed enhanced. "They're using designs from the repository," Park called out, analyzing the sensor data. "They're desperate enough to reveal capabilities they've kept hidden for centuries." The battle that followed would be remembered as the turning point of the Liberation War. The Guardian fleet and their allies faced not just superior numbers, but technology that matched their own. Ships on both sides fell to devastating weapons fire. The quantum shields that had seemed impenetrable were tested to their limits. But the Meridians had made one crucial mistake. In their panic, they had revealed the true extent of their technological hoarding. As the battle raged, the Alliance's combined scientific teams worked frantically, analyzing the enemy's capabilities and finding countermeasures. It was Ixhal who made the breakthrough. "Their systems are based on stolen technology," the crystalline scientist announced. "But they don't fully understand the principles behind them. They're using brute force where finesse is needed." This revelation turned the tide. The Alliance forces adapted, using their deeper understanding of their own technologies to exploit the weaknesses in the Meridian's copied systems. One by one, the enemy ships began to fall. As the battle wound down, Elena received another priority message, this time from Earth's deep space monitoring stations. Similar uprisings were breaking out across Meridian space. The data they'd recovered about the repository had been transmitted to other suppressed worlds, and the response was immediate and violent. The Meridian Council's greatest fear was becoming reality. Not only had humanity broken free, but they had become the catalyst for a galaxy-wide revolution. Their carefully maintained system of control was unraveling at an exponential rate. "Set course for the repository's coordinates," Elena ordered as the last Meridian ships retreated. "It's time we reclaimed what they stole from us. From all of us." The Liberation Fleet jumped to quantum space, leaving behind a free Centauri system and a message of hope for oppressed peoples everywhere. But even as they celebrated this victory, Elena couldn't shake Vexthor's warning about forces they didn't comprehend. What secrets about humanity's true nature lay hidden in the repository? And what price would they all pay for uncovering them? Shadows of betrayal. Deep within the Hyperion's secure conference room, Alina stared at the holographic projection of the ancient repository's location. The massive structure orbited a dying star in a system so old its original name had been lost to time. Getting there would mean crossing through the heart of Meridian space. The defenses are unlike anything we've encountered, Marcus reported, highlighting multiple layers of security around the facility. But that's not our biggest concern. Our intelligence suggests the Meridians are abandoning their outlying territories to consolidate their forces around the repository. They're finally showing their desperation, Alina observed. But before she could continue, alarms blared throughout the ship. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Lieutenant Park shouted. Meridian warships dropping out of FTL on all sides. Alina's training kicked in instantly. Battle stations. All ships assumed defensive formation Delta. But something was wrong. The Meridian ships weren't attacking. Instead, they held position, forming a perfect sphere around the Liberation fleet. Then came the transmission that would haunt Alina for years to come. "I'm sorry, Commander," said Ixhol, the crystalline scientist's hologram appearing on the bridge. "But we cannot allow you to reach the repository." The betrayal hit like a physical blow. Ixhol's ships, previously integrated throughout the Alliance fleet, suddenly turned their weapons on their human allies. The Gerald vessels remained neutral, caught between both sides. "Why?" Alina demanded, even as she ordered countermeasures. "After everything the Meridians did to your people." "Because they were right about humanity," Ixhol replied, their crystalline form pulsing with complex emotions. "We've analyzed your neural patterns, your genetic potential. The repository contains knowledge that could unlock abilities in your species that would reshape reality itself. The Meridians didn't just fear your advancement, they feared your ascension." The space around them erupted into chaos. The Guardian fleet's quantum shields blazed as they deflected fire from ships that moments ago had been their allies. What made it worse was that Ixhol's forces knew their weaknesses, had helped develop some of their technologies. "All ships, execute Protocol Omega," Alina commanded. It was a contingency they'd hoped never to use. A complete systems reset and reconfiguration that would lock out any external influence. But it came at a cost. For crucial seconds, each ship would be vulnerable. Marcus voiced what everyone was thinking. "If we do this, we'll lose all the enhancements the Ixhol helped us develop." "Better that than letting them use those enhancements against us," Alina replied. "Execute now." The Guardian fleet went dark. For 15 terrifying seconds, they were blind and defenseless. The Ixhol ships pressed their advantage, their quantum-based weapons reaching for killing blows. But then the Gerald made their choice. "We stand with humanity," their leader announced. The Ixhol fear change. We embrace it. The energy-manipulating ships moved to shield their vulnerable allies, their unique defensive fields buying precious time for the Guardian fleet to complete its reset. When the human ships came back online, they were running on purely Earth-developed technology, less advanced in some ways, but freed from any hidden backdoors. The battle that followed was unlike anything in known space. The Gerald's energy manipulation abilities complemented the Guardian fleet's raw power, while the Ixhol's quantum-based attacks sought to tear reality itself apart around them. Ships vanished into artificial singularities, emerged from impossible angles, or were torn apart by weapons that ignored conventional physics. In the midst of the chaos, Alina noticed something odd about the Meridian ship's formation. "They're not really fighting," she realized. "They're hurting us." "Lieutenant Park, scan that sector." She pointed to what appeared to be a gap in the enemy lines. "Massive quantum disturbance detected," Park reported. It's like nothing we've ever seen. Some kind of tear in space-time itself." Alina's blood ran cold as she understood. They're not trying to destroy us. They're trying to exile us. That rift would strand us in another reality, another universe entirely. The Meridians had decided that if they couldn't control humanity, they would remove them from this universe altogether. The repository wasn't just their greatest treasure, it was bait for a trap. But trap or not, The repository still held secrets humanity needed. Secrets about their own past, their potential, and possibly their future. They couldn't retreat, but advancing seemed impossible. Then Sarah Chen's voice came through on a secure channel. She'd been analyzing the battle data in real time from Earth. Elena, the Meridians are using repository technology to generate that rift. But they're using it wrong, just like they misused everything else they stole. There's a pattern. What followed was the riskiest decision of Elena's career. Instead of fighting the pull of the quantum rift, she ordered the fleet to charge straight toward it. All ships, full power to quantum drives, she commanded. We're going to ride their wave. The Meridians and Ixal, expecting resistance, were caught off guard by the suicidal charge. The Guardian fleet plunged toward the rift, their engines screaming as reality warped around them. But instead of being torn apart or exiled to another universe, something extraordinary happened. The quantum drives, pushed beyond their limits, began to resonate with the rift's frequency. The tear in space-time didn't swallow them. It shattered, releasing a shockwave that rippled through the fabric of reality itself. As the energy washed over them, every human in the fleet felt something awaken inside them. Genetic markers that had lain dormant for millennia, potential that the Meridians had feared and suppressed, began to stir. When the light faded, the Guardian fleet hung in space, transformed. Their ships crackled with energy they'd never possessed before, and their crews were changing in ways that would rewrite the definition of human potential. Now you understand. Vex Thor's voice came through clearly, filled with genuine fear. This is what we sought to prevent. The awakening of humanity's true nature. Elena looked at her hands, watching quantum energy dance across her skin. Around her, her crew was experiencing similar transformations. They had wanted the truth about humanity's past, about their potential. Now they had it, but at what cost? The real war was about to begin. Evolution's edge. The Guardian fleet hung in the void, transformed. Energy coursed through ships and crews alike as humanity's awakened potential manifested in ways that defied conventional physics. Elena stood on the Hyperion's bridge, watching quantum patterns dance across her skin while her mind expanded to encompass new dimensions of reality. What are we becoming? Marcus whispered, his own form flickering between states of matter. What we were always meant to be. Sarah Chen's voice came through the quantum comm, no longer needing traditional technology to communicate. The repository wasn't just a collection of stolen technology. It was a record of our origins. The truth unfolded in their awakened minds. Humanity hadn't evolved naturally on Earth. They were the descendants of an ancient race that had transcended physical form. The Meridians hadn't discovered Earth. They had imprisoned a nascent species with the potential to surpass them. The child you murdered. Elena addressed Vex Thor through their now shared consciousness. She wasn't just advancing too quickly. She was beginning to remember. You don't understand the responsibility of power. Vex Thor's mental voice rang with desperate conviction. Your ancestors nearly destroyed reality itself in their quest for transcendence. We saved the universe by binding them to physical form, letting them forget what they were. The Meridian and Ixal fleets surrounded them, weapons charged. But now, those weapons seemed primitive, like sticks against a storm. The awakened humans could see the quantum structure of reality itself, could reach out and reshape it with a thought. But with that power came understanding and choice. Elena felt the temptation to simply unmake their opponents, to rewrite the laws of physics in their favor. She saw similar impulses in her crew, the heady rush of near-infinite potential. This was what the Meridians truly feared, not just power, but the choices that came with it. We remember what we were, Elena broadcast to all ships, her consciousness touching every mind in the fleet. But we are not our ancestors. We have learned something they never did, the value of limits, the wisdom of restraint. She turned to her crew, seeing the same realization dawn in their transformed faces. We won't repeat the past. We'll build something new. The Guardian fleet moved as one, their ships now extensions of their awakened consciousness. But instead of attacking, they began to resonate with the quantum fabric of space itself. Reality rippled around them as they demonstrated a different kind of power. The Meridian ships found their weapons slowly transforming, not destroyed but evolved into something new. The Ixhal watched in astonishment as their quantum technology was enhanced rather than suppressed. The Geril felt their energy manipulation abilities expand in ways they had never imagined. "This is what you never understood," Elena told Vexthor. "Evolution isn't about dominance. It's about elevation. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help it grow." Sarah Chen's consciousness joined the link. "My daughter saw this potential, not for power, but for transformation. She died trying to build bridges between species. We'll honor her memory not through vengeance, but through transcendence." The repository's secrets were fully unveiled, not just to humanity, but to all species. But instead of hoarding this knowledge like the Meridians had, the awakened humans began to share it, teaching others how to safely access their own evolutionary potential. The Meridian Council chamber, once a place of oppression, became a center for transformation. Species after species discovered their own paths to advancement, guided by humans who remembered both the power and the responsibility of transcendence. Vexthor and his kind were not punished but offered a choice: to join in this controlled evolution or to remain as they were, their choice respected either way. Many chose to evolve, their fear finally overcome by wonder. The Guardian fleet became something new. Not warriors but teachers, not conquerors but guides. They helped establish protocols for safe advancement, ensuring no species would repeat the mistakes of humanity's ancestors. Emily Chen's death had indeed changed the galaxy, but not through war or revenge. Instead, it had sparked a revolution of consciousness, a great awakening that spread from world to world. Years later, Elena stood on an observation deck of the transformed Hyperion, watching species from across the galaxy come together in the great learning centers that had replaced the old power structures. Beams of energy danced with crystalline entities, while physical and transcendent forms mingled and learned from each other. Sarah Chen, now partly ascended herself, joined her. "Emily would have loved this," she said, her form shifting between physical and energy states. This is what she sought in her research, not just technological advancement, but the potential for all beings to grow together. The stars seemed brighter now, as consciousness itself evolved throughout the galaxy. Humanity had found its true purpose not in domination or even protection, but in teaching, in helping others reach for the light of transcendence, while maintaining their connection to the physical world. The Meridians' greatest fear had been realized, but not in the way they had imagined. Humanity had indeed changed the universe, not by destroying it, but by helping it evolve, one species at a time. And somewhere, in dimensions beyond normal space, Emily Chen's consciousness smiled as her dream of unity between species finally became reality.